guys, first of all, Happy New Year. I hope you're doing all right. And today we're going to talk about the Fujifilm 18mm F1.4, and I'm going to talk a bit about the pros, the cons of this lens, and if you should buy it or maybe not, or we will see. And for your information, I'm filming this video right on the 18mm, so you have an impression of how the field of view is like, how the autofocus is, and the image quality, and so you can make an impression for yourself. But let's start the video now and get into it. So let's talk about the pros of this lens. First of all, I want to talk about the build quality, which is simply amazing. You know, it's full of metal, great weight. It lies good in your hand, it lies good on your camera, and it fits perfectly, and it's not too big for my opinion. It doesn't get too heavy. You know, for example, like a 16 to 55, which is huge, and you get really tired of holding this lens too long. But I don't have that experience with the 18mm. You know, I can take it all day with me and not have an issue at all. Now we're going to talk about the field of view of this lens, which is really perfect in my opinion. I think the 18mm is a sweet spot for me. I had the 23mm before, which was also a great focal length, but somehow I like the 18mm a bit more because I have a wider field of view, and especially for group shots or documentary style, you have a perfect field of view, which is really fitting for me, and you get a bit of this Leica experience on the Fujifilm, which I fell in love with. And when I saw the images of a Leica Q2, for example, I loved the field of view, which is really great. Now let's talk about the image quality, which is obviously one of my favorite lenses in the Fujifilm system, because it's so sharp. You know, you have like, when you photograph a subject, for example, a person, you know, you really can see the detail. And when you photograph at 1.4, for example, you really have this nice bokeh on the sides, or it depends on how you photograph, but I really like the image quality. You know, I don't look in the corners, so it's not so important for me if like the corner is perfectly sharp. I don't think you know, if people look into the corner of your pictures and look if it's sharp, then obviously your picture isn't that great maybe, or maybe you intended to do so, but in my case I don't do that. So it's perfect, you know, you won't have an issue here. It's really good quality. And also in the video side, you know, as you can see, super sharp. You know, you have the soft bokeh here, you know, it's on 1.4. Even if I get closer, you know, the bokeh gets even better. And I think it's a really great lens in terms of image quality. Now we come to the autofocus, and you know, probably the most important part of every lens review in Fujifilm, because you know, they had issues in the past a bit compared to Sony or Canon. But I think they did a really good job here, especially in the close focus distance. You know, you can get really close and still get, you know, get subjects in focus, which is really cool, especially if you shoot portraits, or you know, you want to get close to a subject, like whatever, you know, you can get really close, get this shallow depth of field with the 1.4, and you have this great quality. And you know, as you can see, you know, as I can see in the display, you know, my face gets tracked. I hope it works fine. You know, even if I put my hand between, you know, it focuses really fast and silent. But you know, I come to the cons, and there we will talk about, you know, there I have a little bit of issues there, but we will talk about it now. But over and all, it's really good, you know, really smooth, and I know I can rely on it if I move in front of it and with my face, so no issues. So let's talk about the cons, you know. One of my biggest concern with this lens is, which I didn't hear a lot of people talk about. I don't know if it's a production mistake or whatever, but in my case, if I have the lens on the body and I turn the camera on, and it makes a little bit of sound like the motor is rotating, or I don't really know what it is. Maybe if you guys know it, you can write in the comments. But I have the issue that, you know, it makes those weird sounds. I'm try to, you know, show you when I put the mic next to it, but it's really weird sometimes, and it doesn't matter if the camera is still or the camera is on continuous autofocus, the camera is on single autofocus, or if it's on manual autofocus, it always makes the lens always makes this weird noise, which is, you know, that gives me a little bit of bitter taste, because, you know, when I want to record with something like a mic on top directly, you know, you hear this sound. So in this case, I have this mic here, so it won't be an issue. But, you know, it can be really bad if you like want to record sound right next to it, and then you have this little deet deet deet. It's you will hear when I show you, but I don't like that. It could be better. I don't have that issue on the 33mm, for example. There's no sound at all, which is really, really good. But in this case, I have a little bit of an issue. Now, my second point is the aperture ring. You know, it's a little bit too smooth in my opinion. They could make the thing a little bit more tight, so it's a better user experience. For example, like the 33mm, which has the perfect aperture ring in my opinion. But, you know, maybe it also depends on what you like. But in my case, you know, when you touch it a little bit too, if you like photograph and you touch it, and maybe you change the aperture, which is not too good. But it's not as bad as the old 56, where you can like put your finger and it's turning, but it goes in that direction, and it's not that perfect like the 33mm in my opinion. So I come to my conclusion. All in all, this is a really, really capable lens. I really like it, and it's almost glued, you know, to like the X-T4 or the X Pro 3, which I have bought, you know, almost like a day ago, and I really use that lens often. So I can really recommend it. You know, you're gonna have a lot of fun. If you have an issue, I don't know, I can really say if it's the issue with those weird sounds, but on every lens. But if you have it, you know, you maybe will get disappointed in that area if you like to film with sound. You know, external sound like directly on your body. But if you have like an external sound like the Rode Wireless Go, you won't have an issue. You won't care too much. Or if you record with no sound at all, also no issue. But you know, it can be. So keep that in mind. All in all, image quality great, build quality amazing, and you will get a really, really good product for the price you pay. And now I'm going to show you a little bit of images so that you have an impression of how the images turn out on this lens. And I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, please, if you like it, and that would make me really happy. And, you know, see you in the future. Bye, have a nice day. Bye.
It's one unique, one special vibe.